there's a 65 acre parcel of land that's just below the pavilions where all of us have been because we went to Octane Raceway. It's available. The lease is already worked out. This parcel, more than any other parcel on tribal lands, is like ready to go. It's multiple steps have already been taken, and my understanding is the Coyotes right now have exclusive negotiating rights with the lessee, so they can move ahead pretty quickly with this. I would say that's true of all of the pieces of land on tribal lands. They're ready to develop right away. There's not a lot of development of the land like we talked about with the quarry before. This land is ready to go. You could put shovels in the ground pretty quickly here, but this one more so than others. And you see where it sits. So my understanding is that it allows for higher construction. Like the buildings can literally be higher because of the location between the 101 and Pima Road. But it's also comes with restrictions that we just talked about earlier. You can't build a sports book on tribal land. I think people understand why right now because of the compact. You can't build residences either because you can't own the land. But in spite of those drawbacks, which were major parts of the revenue model for the Coyotes at the TED, the Coyotes have chosen to continue to move forward. They're going to assume all the construction costs, and they basically, the attitude, my understanding, is that they just need to find a way. Okay, if we don't have those revenue streams, what else can we do to make this piece of land work? And again, I'm not saying it's going to work. In the end, they may decide, you know what, it's too much of a challenge. But I think they're well into talks on this parcel of land and with the tribe, or at least with tribe representatives, because some of these pieces of land are owned by others.
But with Craig, this site, and this is a site that the Coyotes have looked at before. Like I remember driving down that freeway going, okay, that open land right here. And if people are familiar with driving south on the 101, it'll be the baseball stadium for the Diamondbacks. And you go a little bit farther, you've got your shopping area and your shopping center, the pavilions where Octane and Mavericks are. And then there's nothing. That's where it would be. And the location, phenomenal. Like the access to the freeway on the West Valley, I think, like I was always thinking this site would be great. So now you're looking at North Tempe, South Scottsdale. I like the location. The concern for me is the revenue streams. And we talked about them partnering with the Suns at one time years and years ago. It's, well, they couldn't make the revenue streams work because they couldn't partner with all of the different dividing up all that money. And I just don't know how they're going to make it work at this site without the revenue streams. But if the location's great, the ability to build now is great. I think this time frame, this building would go up quicker than if they would have moved to the TED. I think they'll be playing in it sooner, which it bodes well for the ownership group and for the board of governors. The concern is what else can they put there to generate revenue, and that's my concern.
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about. Without residences, we can talk about the sports book, and my understanding is if they could put a sports book like on the other side of the freeway, but then you'd have to find land for it. And let's be blunt, we all thought that the sportsbook was going to be a major part of the piece for the Coyotes with Alex Murillo's history with casinos. I'm just going to come out and say it. Sahara Bet so far has been an utter failure. They haven't made any money off of that. They need to find a way to do better with that, even if it's just going to be an online app. They chose not to partner with one of the major casinos, and I think that in the end probably wasn't a great decision. They really didn't help themselves on this front. But whatever they do, I mean, there's a piece of revenue, a piece of pie waiting there for them if they can exploit it. So I think they have to figure that out somehow. Maybe you can partner with the tribe and figure out a way to do that if you split revenue. I don't know. I don't know what's going to be a part of this negotiation, but that has to be part of it. But if you take the residences out, you got to find a way to make up some of that money. And maybe it's okay. It's just less revenue than we thought it was going to be, because I had people telling me, like, if Alex Murillo pulls off this TED thing, he's going to make a killing. He's going to make a killing. So maybe you make less of a killing, but it's still a number that you're comfortable with. Again, I'm spitballing here. I haven't seen the numbers. I don't have all these sorts of details, but this is a site that they have chosen to continue talks on. So that means that they're at least considering it.